extender. It's a sizzler right there. Hey, what's up? Zach here. And today I've got the all-new Yonex Power Cushion Eclipsion 4. And these things are absolute beasts. Let's get into them. The first thing that really jumps out in your face when you take these out of the box is the urethane encasing the uppers all the way from the forefoot to the midfoot. But it's not just that it's encased in urethane, but it's how that is designed. The first thing from more of an aesthetic point of view is how they're crafted, almost like the side pods on the new 2022 Formula One cars. And not only does that help with drag and helps kind of push air to the side of you, but it also makes the shoe bend and move a lot easier, because remember, tennis is more of a side-to-side sport, so you're not getting up to the high speeds that you would actually need these side pods for. However, it's nice to know that they actually thought about ergonomics and aerodynamics in the shoe. And what that also allows them to do is make the uppers a little bit thinner, but also keep the same durability. And just if you look at the upper durability test, the Dremel 10 seconds highest grit sandpaper, and that Dremel really did not make much of an impression on that urethane casing. So if you are someone that toe drags or slides, you know, these things are completely encased in a toe drag guard. And especially because the outsole does ride up over that urethane, it is almost like a triple thickness protection when you're dragging your foot on the court. But not only are the uppers super protective, they also breathe much better than pretty much any other urethane cased upper, and that's because they have really strategic breathing channels. Now there's one giant vent hood here in the top of the shoe, but then they also line them on the outside and inside of the shoe. So when you're moving through the air, remember I talked about the aerodynamics before, it's not so much the shoe makes you faster, but it also catches that air, and so it allows better circulation through the shoe. So it's kind of using a design from another sport for a different purpose, but for kind of the purposes of tennis. And getting into the midsole teardown, honestly, Yonex shoes are kind of confusing when you tear them down, just because Yonex doesn't make the exact materials they use for their foams really readily available online. It's actually kind of hard to find them. Now, what they use is Power Cushion in the back, and they advertise that this is Power Cushion Plus, which is their Power Cushion foam, which I believe is a polyurethane or urethane compound with more elastic resin particles in there, so it springs back and has a little bit more elasticity and a little more cushion. The rest of the midsole is feather bounce foam, which they say is 8% lighter than more traditional foams, which leads me to believe this is an EVA blend of foam. But that is true. These shoes, the midsoles, are a lot lighter, especially when you put them on underfoot. You can just kind of tell it is a little bit lighter to get the shoe up off the ground when you're on your feet. Now, these shoes do have the full-length graphite shank going from the rear foot all the way up into the forefoot. It actually creates a U in the shoe. And that carbon fiber or graphite is so thin that it does not give you as much security and as much torsional control as something more of a thicker polypropylene. However, it is comparable and it is much lighter, so you are kind of getting a little bit of the best of both worlds. However, in terms of true rigidity in the midsole for a side-to-side sport, to me, a lot of times polypropylene is just a little bit better because you can mold it a little bit better. However, with the carbon fiber, you are saving a ton of weight. And on the jump height test, you can kind of see what I'm talking about, 34 centimeters on average, which isn't terrible. It's not super elite like some other shoes we've seen this year. However, it just goes to show you, because the shoe is so light, it's able to get up off the ground a little bit better. It's just that snapback you don't get from something, say, like the Nike Quartz Zoom Next or the GP Turbo or some other shoes that have really stiff polypropylene shanks. And the common theme I noticed throughout the whole shoe was Yonex really trying to dump weight from the Eclipsion 3 to the Eclipsion 4, trying to make it a lot lighter. You can tell here as well, back here in the outrigger heel counter, it is a lot smaller, more low profile than the Eclipsion 3. However, I noticed on hard courts or clay that the amount of torsional control in the heel remained the same. So it is nice that they really were able to kind of save some more weight, make the shoe a little bit more comfortable in the heel while still keeping it a real performance focused shoe. So the one thing I'm noticing about the treads of the Eclipsion 4, just like the Eclipsion 3, I mean, they're good on just about every surface. Even though there's a lot of flat tread, more racing skid, the tread on the outside of the shoe, which is a little more chunky, digs in when you need to, but also allows some pretty efficient sliding on clay or hard courts. No matter really what court you put these on, they're gonna grip really well. Now, if you look at the shuttle test on these, 14.78 seconds, I sort of thought I would get a little bit faster in these, given how well these shoes corner, how well they take tight turns. That rounded outsole tread gives you such fluid movement when you are moving side to side, and they just grab so well. It's such good stability. It's just on the straightaways, because of this flat outsole tread, which is tremendous for side to side speed, tremendous for side to side stability, it just doesn't do that great on straights because it isn't all that ergonomic with your foot. So on the straightaways, I feel like I was losing some momentum and some speed because I was just kind of foot slapping on the ground instead of a nice fluid gait. So in terms of tennis speed, they're phenomenal. In terms of straight line speed, if you're trying to go up and down a basketball court for some reason in these, I think that's when you're going to lose a little bit of time on them. And if you look at the outsole durability test, the Dremel 10 seconds highest grit sandpaper, and the Dremel barely made a blemish on these. This is just super hard rubber compound. The durometer on these is off the charts as well. So if you're looking for a shoe for really durable, hard court sliding, or just durable play for a long period of time, this rubber is engineered some of the best in the market. The part of the Eclipsion 4 that really surprised me in a good way though was the fit of them. The Eclipsion 3s were just really narrow and kind of unforgiving, especially to any bit of a wide foot. The Eclipsion 4s, because they have just a little bit more room in the toe box specifically, do fit narrow, medium, and at least a little bit of a wide foot. I think narrow, medium, go true to size. Wide foot, I would still go up a half size. So in your true size, I think you can get a 1-to-1 fit, feel pretty good. But if you want a little bit more room and you are a 2E, I would go up that half size. It is just nice to see that they kind of address that issue. However, hopefully in the future, they do come out with a 2E version of these for people with bunions and Taylor's bunions. And in terms of playability of the Eclipsion 4, I think everything can be said for how the shoe looks like. We're looking at it from back to front. As you can see, the heel is kind of cupped inside the midsole, which goes wider here on the heel, and the outsole tread is wider than you the entire length of the shoe. So your foot is almost sitting in almost like a hovercraft-like device in the shoe, which gives you just unparalleled side-to-side support. So even though the shoe isn't a boat like some other shoes that give you really good side-to-side support, like the Sole Court Boost, just the design of it makes you almost sit inside the court, so it feels like the court is coming up over the sides of you, which is so nice because if you're on clay, hard court, or even a synthetic surface, this shoe will really kind of keep you centered under your body, which I think is just such a great design. And I don't know why some other tennis shoe companies don't do that, because yeah, stability up here in the forefoot is important, but stability in the heel is super important too, especially in today's modern game. If you look, even with these really like uneven bounces here on the clay courts, they haven't been groomed yet today. These shoes are still really nimble enough for me to get out of my own way, get back into position, and hit a pretty decent shot. And even me, who's a little bit clunkier than they used to be, can really benefit from the more nimbleness of these shoes and the more sure-footedness of these shoes. So if you're someone like that, these actually might be a game improvement shoe for you, as well as just a more comfortable shoe underfoot. So unless you are someone that really likes to sprint forward and backward to the net, more of a serve and volleying style, I really think these shoes are gonna fit pretty much any type of playing style. Like I said, the front to back speed is the only thing I really don't think these things have. But in terms of more tennis speed, side to side speed, all court speed, I really have not found a shoe yet this year that moves as well side to side and grabs as well side to side. Because when you want to stop in these, you stop. It doesn't really matter what the court surface was, I found. So, and also just the lightness of the shoe really kind of gives you a nice profile. If you are somebody with ball of foot pain or just really comes down hard on the balls of their feet, I might want to throw an orthotic in them just because of that flat sole, just to give you just a little bit something under the ball of your foot. However, if you don't suffer from those issues, then I mean, I didn't see a problem with them for me. That's just the one downside of a flat-soled shoe. Other than that though, in terms of playability, some of the best of the year, bar none. But as of right now, the Eclipsion 4, I believe, is only available in certain markets. But let me know in the comments down below if it does come available in your market. Are you picking up a pair of these or are you passing on them? Let me know down below. And if you want to check out the rest of the brand new shoes of 2022 and what they have to offer, make sure you click into this video up above and subscribe down below. Respect your rubber and foam and proprietary midsole materials. I'll see you in the next video.